It was interesting. When the news came out, the President of the United States was in front of House Republicans, and the President said, apparently there's white smoke over the Vatican. And Congressman Billy Long from Missouri says, does that mean the White House is open for tours? And the President said, no, but the Vatican is. Well, what's happened now with the White House tours is Washington, D.C., particularly the executive branch, is in full blame game mode, because this is a sequester choice they made that is blown up in their face. We have two sound bites for you. First of all, it's very interesting. You're going to hear the President of the United States blame the Secret Service, and then you're going to hear Jay Carney blame the White House itself. These guys got to get on the same page. Here they are.
You know, I have to say this was not a decision that went up to the White House, but what the Secret Service explained to us was that they're going to have to furlough some folks. What furloughs mean is that people lose a day of work and a day of pay. And, you know, the question for them is, you know, how deeply do they have to furlough their staff, and is it worth to make sure that we got White House tours?
We had to cancel the tours. It's our job to cancel the tours. They cannot cancel them. So, because this is not a tour of the Secret Service building, it's a tour of the White House and the grounds. And we run the tours and the invitations and that process. So the White House, as we have said, canceled the tours, confronted with the choice made by the Secret Service, which we concur with, but it is certainly their choice because it's their budget, that it was the right thing to do not to add further furloughs to the future for Secret Service agents, the men and women who put their lives on the line to protect senior officials in our government, and that the result would be cutbacks in staffing hours in an area like tours, which is so labor intensive.
Now think about this. They did this as truly symbolism to show the sequester hurts and is going to hurt congressmen and other people and your constituents that come to Washington, and that they have to be set up, these tours often set up by fellow congressmen and congresswomen, so their people in their home district can say, wow, he's really hooking us up. So this has been a disaster, been unexplainable. Of all the issues we have in this country, we're talking about White House tours that don't even add up to anything. Now, meanwhile, the President goes up to the House yesterday and wants to have a conversation about what's happening with the budget. And he sits there talking about the tours. Chairwoman Candace Miller asks him, what's the deal with the tours? Why didn't you stop with the Christmas party or the congressional picnic? When President says, well, it was the Secret Service who did this. Right. Everyone groaned in disbelief, and the President came out and goes, you have to be, don't be disrespectful.
Be respectful.
How unbelievable is this?
Well, what a misfire. I mean, the idea that they didn't think that there would be pushback from the American public when school kids' tours of the White House, the People's House, was canceled. Obviously, everybody's saying, couldn't you have trimmed something else? The President's argument is that the Secret Service gave them the choice. We would either have to furlough our workers or cancel the tours. So in putting people out of work for a day, a week, he said, okay, cancel the tours. But obviously there are other things in the White House budget that could be cut. And lots of people have raised their hand, like you are, Steve, about, say, the President's travel.
In fact, here's Jonathan Carl asking about presidential travel yesterday.
The Secret Service told us that the tours cost $74,000 a week. How much is it going to cost for the President to travel later this week to Illinois?
Look, the President is the President of the United States, and he's elected to represent all of the people, and he travels around the country appropriately. I don't have a figure on the cost of presidential travel. It is, you know, obviously something, as every president deals with because of security and staff, a significant undertaking. But you know, the President has to travel around the country. He has to travel around the world. That is part of his job.
How much does it cost for him to go and play golf?
John, again, you know, you're trivializing an impact here. People will lose their job. 750,000 people will lose their job.
Henry says, wow, someone asked a tough question. I could take the day. He could have called in sick yesterday for the first time in 2 years.
The interesting thing is, so far, nobody has been laid off in the Secret Service. The President mentioned, well, you know, there could be furloughs and stuff.
But they would keep it a secret.
But nobody, because they're the Secret Service, nobody has lost their jobs yet. But they stopped the tours last week. What's up with that?